Mesmero forces Lorna to meet his gaze, and she becomes hypnotized. Using elaborate masks, the guards take and hide her in a coffin, where she is slightly aware of being transported. As they arrive at a mysterious fortress, Mesmero quickly redresses in his costume and gives the guards orders to put Iceman in a cell and to prepare Lorna for the mutant energy stimulator to awaken her dormant mutant power so that they can rule over mankind. Attached to a machine, energy courses through her, releasing her powers. Back with the X-Men, they have their own thoughts about the villain's hideout that they found. Deciding not to wait any longer, they move to breach the hulls of the ominous mansion. Inside, they find various guards ready to stop them, and Beast moves quickly to dispose of one of them. Cyclops strikes another as he loads a gun, while Jean seizes another in a nearby curtain. Angel grabs another and tosses him at Beast, who kicks him into the wall. Cyclops, being held down, resorts to his fists when Jean picks up a distress call from Bobby about his situation. She mentally clues the others in and tells them that they need to be captured. Cyclops tells Beast, who replies that they need to be careful when Angel is caught in a pair of electric bolos. At the same time, a giant plastic bag comes down and covers them, pumping gas inside. The teens succumb to the gas, and the leading soldier claims victory, wanting to take them to the mutant city that Bobby and Lorna are trapped in. Back with Mesmero, he warns Iceman that his shackles will explode if he tries to escape, and forces him to watch Lorna's transformation. Bobby is worried that Lorna's mind will be affected and become evil, while Mesmero gloats of the power that she will have. Just then, the guards return, and he has them tell the X-Men about Bobby's predicament. As he turns back to the monitor, he sees the machine stop and Lorna steps forward. Mesmero is awestruck by her and proclaims her as the daughter of Magneto and the queen of all the evil mutants. Lorna comes to terms with finding out about being Magneto's daughter, while Cyclops realizes that the M2 weapon was Magneto's heir and fears how powerful she might be. Beast and Angel are ready to fight, but Cyclops reminds them about Iceman being prisoner when Jean mentally moves to break Mesmero's hold over him. Iceman feels the hypnotic bond weakening and quickly breaks free from his collar. Mesmero realizes what happened and vows to set Magneto's heir upon them. The villain screams for her to avenge her father when Bobby tries to tell her that they've changed her as she raises her arms. From her, waves of power emanate, but instead of hurting the X-Men, the followers of Magneto are thrown bodily around. She collapses from the strain, but Angel catches her and the rest of the X-Men charge forth to fight Mesmero as he proclaims their defeat from his power. Just before they reach him though, the ground violently shifts beneath them. Cyclops and the others quickly realize, but can't believe who could do that. Bobby looks at the shadows as a man reveals himself. Coming out into the light, Magneto reveals that he's still alive as he proclaims parentage over Lorna. Magneto claims Lorna as his daughter and offers her a choice: either stand with the X-Men or join him and rule the world. The teens believe that she'll choose Magneto when Iceman decides to tell her about him. He begins spouting about the lives that Magneto has stolen and everything else that he's done. Sickened by the master of magnetism, Iceman moves to fight, but Beast and Cyclops hold him back. Iceman, tortured that Lorna is being changed, is scolded by Cyclops and reminded of his training when Lorna tells him that he can't waste his time with her. Surprisingly, Cyclops then sides with Iceman and prepares to fight. Moving quickly, the leader of the X-Men slugs Magneto. Getting up, Magneto swears to kill them and orders Mesmero and the guards to attack. Thinking of Lorna, Iceman moves quickly to get her out of the crossfire, though she wonders why he's helping her. Beast calls over to him for help against some guards, and Iceman quickly freezes them all in place. Capitalizing on the moment, Angel and Beast swoop in to knock the guards out. Angel narrowly dodges a gunshot when a trio of guards grabs Cyclops to encase his head in a metal helmet. Beast, though, is unable to come to his aid as he's dodging Magneto's attack and Jean is guarding Iceman, who is weakened from freezing the enemy in place. Warren watches as the helmet locks into place on Scott's head, but the mutant leader barely manages to blast it off before he suffocates. Angered, he's ready to take the offensive to the elation of the others. Jean, though, warns that Iceman needs a minute to recuperate, but Magneto sees the hesitation and begins a fierce attack of his own. Beast tells Jean that she's the only one that can stop his attack, and she raises a telekinetic shield. Angel, though, is outside the shield and is struck by the metallic debris. Cyclops yells for him to get behind him and begins blasting the metal out of the air. Though he puts on a brave front, he barely manages to hold the attack back. Moving to finish, Lorna wants to find another way than killing them, but Magneto refuses and sets his sights on Jean. Her shield crumbles and she is covered in the debris. Beast tells her to slow the attack until they take Magneto down, but Warren is skeptical and votes to retreat. Before they can decide, they are surrounded by other mutants following Magneto. Cyclops moves to defeat one of them when the man's mutant power returns the attack at twice the force. Angel is constricted by steel cables, which slowly begins to squeeze him to death. Cyclops, seeing only one option, begins shooting the roof and bringing it down upon the evil mutants. Angel is freed, while Jean points out that Magneto has been buried under the rubble. Bobby sees that Lorna is holding the roof slightly, while Beast suggests they escape and regroup. As they fall back, Jean points out that they've reached a dead end. Beast, though, smashes his way through, and Cyclops seals it behind them after they pass. Seeing a ship, they pile in. Jean, though, doesn't want to leave Lorna behind, but Angel is against saving her since she helped her father. Back at their temporary base, Bobby wants to get back in the fight, but Scott tells him that they need to rest when he tells Bobby that he's conflicted on the team due to Lorna. The accusation enrages the youngest member, and they almost come to blows when Hank yells for them to both calm down. As they argue, Jean steps in and chastises them, reminding them both of what they've all sacrificed to become X-Men and to hone their powers. Bobby ignores her though, but Scott decides the fighting isn't worth it. Shocked, Bobby calls the leader a coward and storms out of the base. Scott tells the other that he just needs to cool off and hopes that the plan he came up with pulls through. A few days later, the guards at the mutant city detect a powerful mutant and run when the ground begins cracking apart. The new mutant boasts of his strength and calls out Magneto, claiming to rival him in power, and calls himself Eric the Red. We join Eric the Red as he breaks through Magneto's defenses and Mesmero is desperate to stop him. Showing his power, Eric begins dispatching the guards, making Mesmero more desperate and ordering them all to attack however they can as he uses his own power. However, Eric merely shrugs off Mesmero's illusion and easily tears through even more of the defenders. Knowing he's outnumbered though, Eric threatens to bring the whole base down and shoots into the walls, setting off a chain reaction. Mesmero tries to rally the troops, but as the explosions go on, he yells for them all to run away. Lorna, caught in a crisis of faith, feels she has no choice but to defend Magneto as Eric makes his way towards her father. Moving quickly, she intercepts him and threatens to kill him, but he insists that he has something important to tell her, and she is willing to listen, provided he stays back. To her surprise, he tells her that he wishes to join Magneto himself, and she discusses it with her father. With no choice but to take the risk, they accept Eric's word. Sensing her distrust, he demands her allegiance from herself and the others until Magneto is fully recovered. Lorna is unsure if Mesmero will go along, but Eric assures her that he'll have no choice and they set out to free him from his prison. Back with the X-Men, Jean gets a message from Scott letting her know the plan is ready, and she informs Beast to get in position. Angel also receives the message and hurries to the rendezvous. As they meet up, they miss and worry about Bobby's whereabouts, but quickly focus. Returning to Eric, Mesmero reluctantly accepts his leadership, but informs him that his loyalty is still to Magneto and that they will fight to the death once his master has healed. Eric isn't convinced by Mesmero and wants to keep an eye on him. Lorna, though, notices that he's not like the others when she returns to Magneto, who tells her that they'll rule alone together when she wonders of her future. Outside, the X-Men are on the premises executing their plan. As they step through a doorway, they encounter a figure, but as he steps out of the shadows, he reveals himself as Cyclops dressed as Eric and informs them about all he's done. Cyclops instructs Angel on the next part as the winged mutant lays copper tape on the ground with the plan to electrocute Mesmero and his guards upon their return. Cyclops hears someone approaching and prepares the trap. Unfortunately, it's Bobby with the information about Lorna when Angel and Beast see that it's him and try to stop Scott. Unfortunately, they're too late, but Bobby only gets a minor shock as they turned it off quickly. Suddenly, the power supply of the copper wire is destroyed and Scott looks around to see the source. Mesmero is there with soldiers, having suspected Eric and discovering his identity. Angel flies quick and attacks with Jean helping him, while Beast takes Iceman and hurries him away, when some of the soldiers begin shooting at him. Angel is suddenly beset by more soldiers and decides he must stop Mesmero to get them off him. At that moment, Mesmero shoots Angel with his mutant energy, severely debilitating him. Beast returns in time to stun the evil mutant, whose attention merely turns to him. Jean hurries to save them and attacks him with her own telekinetic thought waves and manages to hurt Mesmero. Some soldiers try to use an energy cannon, but Cyclops uses the blasters in his armor to destroy it before it can be fired. Back with Jean, her duel with Mesmero continues as he tells her he won't be defeated due to his guards, but she has faith in her team. Magneto, watching the fight, asks Lorna if she will help him, and though wishing against it, feels she must help her father against the X-Men when she hears someone tell her that she's been tricked. Turning, she finds Bobby, who tells her that he's researched her life and learned that Magneto isn't her father, and that her parents died shortly after she was born. Feeling a heavy weight lifted, she moves to take care of Mesmero and Magneto both. Back with the X-Men, Angel has been caught and Mesmero is about to have him killed when they are hit by a surprise attack. Magneto is shocked at her turnabout when she reveals that she knows the truth. She then continues her attack, freeing the X-Men and allowing them to move after the villain. When they arrive at his command room, they find him gone when Magneto comes in over the radio telling them that the base will explode in 1 minute, though Beast is skeptical. Jean confirms what he says, and the team of X-Men run for their lives and barely make it out before the explosions go off. They return to the mansion with Lorna, where they take the opportunity to rest and relax. We see a man calling himself Blastaar as he flies through negative space, having been condemned there. Seeking the thrill of battle, but unable to fight, he instead looks at Earth, unable to reach it as it would kill him to set foot on there. He continues searching for a way to exit the negative space so that he might avenge himself of the ones who put him there. We then join the X-Men as they are examining one of Xavier's machines, which can turn matter into radio energy. Scott warns Jean to be careful as she has volunteered to test the machine herself. She begins to feel vibrations, and Scott tells her not to take any chances. Continuing, she starts feeling bursts of energy when they start to overwhelm her, but it begins to overload the machine, and they hurry to turn off the main fuse. Beast checks her, but sees she's not in any danger, and they rush her to the medical lab just to be sure. Jean is worried about the machine when Cyclops yells for Beast to shut it down, but he is unable to due to the sheer heat that it's putting off. Meanwhile, in the negative zone, Blastaar is being pulled towards the Earth when he realizes something is freeing him. Beast moves to destroy the machine when he sees Blastaar materialize from the energies that the machine is putting off. Beast makes a snarky comment, which angers the monster, who moves quick and shoots Hank with beams from his hand. Bobby and Angel hear Jean send out a cry for help and rush to her aid. Back with Jean, she realizes that she's the one that brought Blastaar into the world when Cyclops tells her that he's going to get her out of there and fight the monster. Blastaar, though, isn't concerned about winning a fight with brute strength when Angel arrives to back Cyclops up. Angel, too quick to be hit by the enemy's blast, watches as the creature begins to fly himself. Easily outpacing Warren, he punches the winged mutant and slams him into a wall. Angel falls to the ground defeated, and Bobby is worried for him, but Cyclops tells him to check on Hank first and that he'll help their fallen comrade. Iceman reports that Beast is alright, and Cyclops decides to take a gamble. Using his optic blast, he lifts himself into the air, allowing him a clean shot at Blastaar, saving Angel. Jean instructs Iceman to help her revive Beast, and he produces frozen oxygen to wake him. Beast comes to and thanks Bobby, and they move to fight when Jean gets an idea to send Blastaar back to where he came, and Iceman reluctantly asks what her idea is. She has Bobby create a handful of ice mannequins, then yells for Cyclops to get away from Blastaar quickly. Beast hurries in with the fakes and tackles the villain, taking him by surprise. The mannequins are thrust into Blastaar, overwhelming him with their attack. One of the fakes' hands closes around the villain's throat, forcing him to retreat when the figures are thrown through a hole in the ceiling. With only one left to fight, Blastaar regains the upper hand. As he destroys the last ice figure, he proclaims victory as it melts at his feet. He then screams out in pain as the X-Men descend upon him, as they tell him that he's being destroyed. Cyclops informs him that Xavier's machine is what brought him there, and the water from the mannequin created a link between Blastaar and the machine. Jean, though, is unable to watch as the villain is killed, while the others reassure her that it saved many more lives. Jean, though, blames herself for bringing him there when Beast and Angel arrive, alive and healthy to everyone's relief. We join Cyclops as he awakens in a museum and being arrested for murder. He remembers how events got to where they are and how it started with the X-Men celebrating a secret Cyclops had kept. He's pleased as the others join him at a college where his kid brother Alex is graduating as he steps up and accepts his diploma. He thinks of how his brother doesn't know that he's a mutant yet when he introduces him to his friends. Scott offers to buy him a drink if he goes and changes, which Alex does when he gets a weird feeling. Turning around, he finds a man who was sent by someone called the Pharaoh when another grabs him and he is gassed and falls asleep. Not long later, Scott checks on his brother to find him gone, and Jean moves to mentally see who was there in the room. The men that took Alex deliver him to the Pharaoh, who says that only he could challenge his power, and that he is of royal Egyptian blood and that all pharaohs were mutants. He felt a calling for Alex and had him captured so that he could have him killed. The knife is blasted from his hand, though, due to the arrival of the X-Men, causing the Pharaoh to order his servants to attack and throws a spear at Beast, who narrowly dodges the projectile. Angel grabs hold of the Pharaoh when he shoots out a beam of energy at Beast, then sends the same energy into the teen holding him. Iceman hurries and shoots a sheet of ice, hitting the villain when Beast tackles him. Jean moves in and mentally attacks him, forcing him to drop an amulet that causes a smoke screen to release from its confines. Moving fast, Pharaoh presses a hidden button which releases some of his warriors to fight. One of the warriors attacks Iceman but is frozen, while the other tries and fails to hit Warren with his sword. Working together, Beast, Iceman, and Angel make short work of the rest of the guards. Meanwhile, Cyclops and the Pharaoh are having a duel of wills, with whoever's power lasting longest being the winner. Scott's power begins to weaken though, and Jean helps him by mentally attacking the Pharaoh. However, her attack rebounds at her and Cyclops due to the Pharaoh creating a wall of sound. Iceman and Beast are stopped by the sound wall, which allows the warriors to escape from battle. Cyclops hurries to free his brother from his shackles when Alex figures out that Cyclops is Scott. The X-Men choose to leave them alone so that Scott can explain everything to his brother, who wants to know everything from the beginning. Scott hesitates on telling his brother anything, though Alex still greatly admires him for being the leader. They both then hear a suspicious noise and look around to find the Pharaoh holding a statue with glowing gems, which upon seeing, causes them both to black out. Cyclops wakes up to find the guards accusing him of murder, as he sees the Pharaoh lying motionless. He figures Alex must have killed the villain and ran, and decides to help his brother. He shoots the cop's gun, destroying it, and easily knocks both cops unconscious. Back home at the mansion, Jean and the others hear of Scott's crime on the radio and move to find him before the police do. At the same time, the police are searching vigorously for the would-be murderer. Returning to Cyclops, he finds hidden tunnels under the Pharaoh's headquarters and follows them until he finds a light which illuminates a figure. Upon entering the room, he confronts the Pharaoh, who is alive and well and is ready to fight the X-Men.